Hello, friends. It looks like we are live. I am so excited tonight. Tonight is a big night for me for several reasons. I want to thank all of you that are here watching live and listening. I want to thank all of you that are going to be watching the replay. And if you might possibly see me in the future on some other devices, I want to make sure to thank you for all that too. We have several in the house. I'll say quick hellos to Jamie and Ginger and Michelle, and looks like we've got Dale. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Thank you all for being here. I am giddy. I am excited because someone very special gets to be my guest today. This is the first time she and I have actually gotten to talk like almost in person. We've talked a lot through email and through just on both of our channels, making comments and supporting each other. But this is Carolina, known as Mama Baird's, and I'm so excited. And I'm almost kind of like excited to have her here because I've been a follower of hers for, I know it's probably been about 18 months or no, 15, 16, I don't know, somewhere like that.
Pretty much since I started. Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning phases, like I know you were at 500 or under. I know you hadn't, so I've been watching you, and I'll never forget the first video that I watched of yours. You were in the pantry, and it was like the middle of the night, and everybody was quiet and sleeping still, and you were organizing and showing us all how you were putting dates on the cans. And I'm like, I like this girl. I like the way she does. I like the way she thinks. And then you said you were from Missouri originally. And I'm like, no wonder she's from my area. So I just felt like we clicked. And so it's kind of really cool and almost surreal to get to have her here live with us tonight. So I hope that everyone has questions for her. I know I have several, but let's go ahead and let you just introduce yourself the way you'd like.
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Carolina. And Angela, it's funny you mentioned that. The first time I remember seeing you and your channel, I don't know who talked to who first, but I think it was me talking to you because I remember you had just won your All-American pressure canner.
I didn't even remember you commenting on that one.
Yeah, I think that was the first video I ever watched of yours, and I was so jealous. I was like, oh, I wanted one because I had been watching canning, but I hadn't really started it yet. So you kind of helped me to get into the canning.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, see, I don't know. I live in Montana. I have 3 children, a daughter who's 6 and twin boys who are 5. They're all aging up this summer. I homeschool them, so we stay home with them. My husband is a mechanic, and so he works. And then I do YouTube. So, and I really enjoy it.
You are a very, very busy person and a caretaker to others. I know that you have, it's been real important to you to try to kind of get active in your mom's life again and with her health, getting her straightened out again. So
absolutely, which is a challenge in its own. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I am, I guess. And I mean, there's worse things you could be.
So I'll say a quick few more hellos real quick. We've got Nanny Tam, I think is new to my chat. Welcome. Maybe one of your followers, your friends from your channel, I'm guessing. Mimi Dishes, Janet Creasing Homestead, Carrie Berry. I think I said hello to everyone. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. We're going to just keep on going here because I know we've got lots of great information that we're going to glean from you today. So some of the first things that I like to, before we just get into chit chat, and that kind of comes later, I like to ask a few questions, and I want you to know up front, if there's anything that I ask you that you're uncomfortable with, just tell me pass, no, thank you, no pressure or whatever to answer anything. But speaking of, I was trying to think back when I first saw you and you first saw me, that was actually my first real YouTube video, was that canning.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, like 4 years prior to that, I had just done response videos just to kind of like be part of the group and just have fun. And when I won that canner, I was like, okay, this is my push. This is my reason to start a channel because I need to say thank you because that was really awesome because Patera at Appalachia's Homestead had a giveaway.
Yeah.
And I actually won a gift card from another channel. And I'm like, okay, this maybe is my push. This is my reason. So that's when I got started. So how about you? How long have you been making content, and what encouraged you to decide to do it?
Okay, well, I started not this last December, but the December before. It was like right at the beginning. It's actually my husband's idea
So we
too.
really did start about the same time then.
Yes, I believe we did. Yeah.
So I thought so because I kept thinking to myself, she's just getting started. I'm just getting started. If she can do it, I can too.
Yeah, and then you started talking about freeze drying stuff, which is something I was just learning about and really wanting to get into. So I've been educating myself on freeze drying this whole entire time, preparing myself for my freeze dryer. But yeah, for my channel, it was actually husband's idea. He's been pushing me to have a channel because we saw homesteading channels, and I was like, man, we could do that, or that's what we want to do. You know, there's people who go out there who sell everything, go start their homestead and have no idea what they're doing, start a YouTube channel, and they're making it, and that's what's supporting their dream of having a homestead. And I was like, man, he's like, we could do that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to put myself online. I don't want to hear what people have to say. You know, everybody's always got something to say. And I just didn't want to hear it. You know, I kind of wanted to be in my own little bubble. And, but yeah, so we were going to do it together. But then I just have the personality a little more than him. He's a little more introverted, shy kind of thing. So
he has been on a few videos.
He has,
right? You went on a date recently and got flowers and things and veggies.
Yep, we went to Home Depot.
Yeah. Hey, I call that date day. That's real. That's
really was. Yep, we went to the drive-thru, got Burger King, you know, and went to Home Depot. It was great. Oh, we stopped by the Verizon store. Woo! That was great. We went all out.
Yes.
Yeah, so he is on a few videos, especially now that we're going to be going outside and doing more homesteading kind of projects. He'll probably be in there more. I have my kids in my videos occasionally. They'll pop in there if they're helping me in the kitchen or something, you know. Yeah. So it's fun to include my family in it, but you know, it's nice that it's not purely my family. You know, it's mostly me cooking or doing whatever it is I'm doing. You know, I just record it and throw it up there and just see. They might like it, they might not. I don't know. I'm sorry. My husband was the one who made me. Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome that you have the support of him and your family. And is it hard sometimes though with the family to get things done? Because I know, like with me, sometimes I just give up and I'm like, this video is just going to be voiceover because there's way too much background noise.
No, it's never difficult at all. I just balance everything perfectly because I'm an influencer. Absolutely. It's very difficult, especially since you're still learning YouTube and you're still like, I'm still learning filming. I'm still learning editing. I'm still learning the algorithm. You know, I'm still learning all this stuff too. So it's trying to fit in that while learning how to homeschool the kids, learning how to raise chickens, you know, learning everything, you know. So it's just kind of try and, I don't know, see what works. You know, if it doesn't work, figure it out, you know, try something new. You don't give up on it and stuff. And I was like, man, you could see something in one of my videos I was editing. And I'm like, man, if I knew how to Zoom, I could cut that out and I could save this clip. So then I'm on YouTube, how to Zoom in Vegas Pro, and it brings it up. And within 30 seconds, I just learned how to Zoom. And I'm like, okay. And so I've learned that. Now, how do I slow Zoom? So I'm slow zooming in as I'm talking, because I notice I watch a lot of true crime documentaries, and like if it's
my daughter did along.
Oh my gosh, it's dangerous sometimes. But like I'll be sitting there and it's just a picture and it'll slow zoom in. I'm like, oh, that looks so professional. So how do I slow zoom? You know, and so you just kind of pick it up as you go and learn from your mistakes. So, but yeah, it is difficult learning, and I'm more of a morning person. Oh, my nose is itchy. I'm more of a morning person, so I'll get up early and work on my stuff before everybody gets up.
I've
It's
noticed
kind of,
that when you do your lives, a lot of time it is your like me time in the morning
yes.
before the family gets up. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I want to spend it, just talking to you guys because I need a friend or something. You always say your internet friends aren't real friends, but I disagree with that, especially nowadays. You're just it's easier to find your people. Mm.
Yeah. I've talked about that with so many different people about how we have been able to find so many friends and like-minded people on YouTube that are real and genuine.
Yeah.
So I popped up a couple comments. I'm trying not to miss you all, I promise. Put it in all caps if you need to ask a question or say something. Oh, see here, I'd missed Ginger. She said, stop it. She has twin boys too. And I
Yeah.
think she said they were born on her birthday. Is that right? So yeah, I think.
Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah. 3
Twin
birthdays on the
club.
same day in June. Yeah. Hey, my birthday's in June. Awesome.
My daughter's birthday's in June, and my mom's.
Oh, wow.
It
I
was a
do
long
think I
winter.
remember
No.
that. Yeah. My sister got married on my birthday, and her niece is also birthday that day too. So it would be
That's
really
it.
weird if it was the same day. Renee says she disagrees too. I have made awesome and real friends. And Renee is one of my friends that I talk to almost daily now, either
Aw,
texting, calling, or whatever. It's awesome. It's wonderful to make good friends. And I consider you one of my friends too. We've
I
had
do as
some great
well.
conversations on emails, and you've been super helpful to me. So I'll ask you another question, which I don't know if you had decided whether you wanted to answer. And like I said, anything I ask you, you can skip. I always ask people what inspired their name or what made them choose their name of
Okay.
their channel.
Well, you just need to mind your business. No. Well, my name has actually changed around a bit. Like it started off as Mama Baird's Pantry. And
Yeah.
then because we were just going to do cooking, I was going to do cooking stuff because that's what I do. I went to culinary school, majored in baking and pastry, but I was like 18, fresh out of high school, didn't retain half of it, spent way too much money on something on that education. But it is what it is, and it got me where I am, and it brought my love of food, even though I have shifted more to cooking than I have baking. So I was doing cooking and stuff and with pantry, and then we wanted to do homesteading stuff. I'm like, well, it's kind of limiting the pantry. Felt like that was limiting our
Uh-huh.
our potential, so we switched it to homestead. So then we started doing the homesteading stuff, and then I started doing product reviews. And the biggest one that really kind of did it was my shop vac. I had a wet mop shop vac, and I was like, how am I supposed to promote this on a cooking channel if it's I was like, well, I can use it to clean my floors, and that was kind of my selling point for it. And then I made like a little infomercial about it and kind of made it really, really fun. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed using it. It's not something that I normally would have bought, but I got the privilege to try it. And so then I was like, well, now like homesteading's kind of limiting it too. And then you and I actually, like you heard in one of my
Yep.
lives, that I
Yep.
was like, I feel like it's limiting my product review potential because I'm stuck with Homestead and I want to review stuff that's outside of that. So you're like, just drop it all together and just be Mama Baird's. And I was like, that's genius. So that's what I did.
Yeah. And I love that you felt like you could change and adapt with what you were doing. And now Mama Bear just does whatever she wants.
That's right. That's right. And it's like, sky's the limit on that. And so that felt, and don't be afraid to change stuff like that. Like I'm only 18 months into YouTube. We're going to be figuring out our channel. We're going to be changing our content, our approach, our, what we do, because our life's adapting, and, YouTube changes constantly.
Yeah, that's for sure. Absolutely. And speaking of that, you kind of had a big burst. And do I remember you kind of quit making videos for a short stint
Yes.
because there were some nasty people?
Well, it wasn't really nasty people. It was just like it was a lot, like trying to do videos, and then like the way I was trying to film before before I was trying to film like with the kids, I was like, shh, gotta be quiet. I'm doing a video. Shh, no, you can't be in here. I'm doing a video. You can't help me. No, and it was just too much to try and keep the kids quiet while I'm trying to film. And then I was still doing housekeeping as well. So I was still working 20 hours out of the house
Wow.
and then trying to do all that. It was just, and then I was also backed up on videos because husband was doing all of the editing and I was doing all the filming. So I had videos backed up where I had filmed, but he was too busy to edit. So we kind of took a break. It was probably about 3 weeks that I didn't post anything. I did like one live to let everybody know I was still here, but I did take a little bit of a break. And that was before October, right before October, before I had my big break.
So do you feel like after you got your break and you came back and your head was clear and you had a plan, that is when your channel grew? Or do you think that happened before the break?
No, it happened after the break. Like we took the break and then I was like, you know what, you just need to teach me how to edit so I can do this myself, because him doing it for me just wasn't working and we wanted to continue to do the channel. I was really enjoying it. I enjoy making the content. I enjoy, the community that has come from this. So I'm like, I don't want to give it up. And he's like, okay, well, and at that point I wasn't really making a lot. Hey, Julie, I wasn't really making a lot of money or income, and it was just fun for me, so I was like, show me how to do it. So he sat down and it took an hour and we edited a video together. He showed me how he liked it, which he's very particular. If you look at my very early videos versus now, editing style has completely changed because it's kind of more my style, like what I like. I include stuff that I like from other videos. So if I like the slow zoom, how can I incorporate that into my video? So I try and do what I like. And so that helped because it added more of my touch to the final video. It wasn't just me. And as I'm filming, I can picture in my head, how is it going to look, what scene I want, especially when I'm doing my infomercials, that's really fun for me.
Really good at that.
Thank you. It's gotten like I can visualize the scene in my head and put the camera there, and stuff. And so that has helped.
Put work into it. I mean, I can understand why companies would contact you because you give them a true effort.
Yeah. I'm not just like unboxing it, showing what it is, and then talking about it, and that's it. Like I literally put the thing on, and give it a try.
Yeah.
So that helped. But my big break video was the very first one when I spoke up against the stigma of going to the food bank.
And that's kind of what I was wanting to lead into. And real quick here at the bottom here, and Michelle, if you know how to put it at the top for me, go ahead and do that. But I do have it starred, and so I can come back to it. But if you haven't been to Carolina's channel, this is the link to her channel. So, okay, yes. You tell us about where you were going.
Okay, so the food bank is a big part of my life because it helps my family so much. And the one here in Missoula is phenomenal. It goes so out of its way to help its community. And I've only have like maybe 3 food banks that I've been to, so I don't have much experience with a lot of them. But from other people's comments and experience them and what I experienced in Missouri, this one really just blew me away. 1 second. Yes. Can you go grab my bike? When I'm done with this, then we're gonna get the bike. Remember, it's 7 o'clock, okay?
How many minutes left until it starts?
We got 40 minutes.
Is that one kind of quick?
It's quick.
That is so sweet.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Can you close the door with you?
I just love that.
So he's getting a new bike. We found a bike on Marketplace for sale for $35, and he's getting a new
now
one.
You'll all have one then.
And after this, well, we're upping the kids to new bikes.
Okay.
So we're upsizing. So he's getting one, and he's so excited. So, anyway, so that's what we're doing after this. So he has got to come bug me about it. All right. Food banks, right. So this one has just been so great, and it's where I got a lot of the food to help my family. Like the very first time I went, they didn't have the shopping yet. They only had mobile pickups because it was 2020 when we moved here. So I was
Oh, yeah,
like,
that was
okay, that's,
another question, how long you
yeah.
had lived where you are. So
It-
did you start the channel no, you'd lived there a while.
a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived here about a year and like 2 months-ish because we moved here around September and then we moved into our house in October. We had to stay in a hotel for 3 weeks
Oh,
with
wow.
three. Yeah, so it was a lot until we got to move into our house. But I had discovered the food bank and I got a 10-pound log of hamburger, my very first one, and it was frozen solid. And I was like, holy cow, this is for one person. They're like, yeah, there you go. I was like, oh my gosh. And then having 10 pounds of hamburger, that seems intimidating. You're like, well, what am I? And it's all frozen. So it's not like I can cut it up and then freeze it. So that was my incentive to learn how to pressure can. So that's when I started doing research on how to pressure can. And it probably took, I don't know, like 5 months maybe over the winter of me pressure canning and stuff and learning how to preserve this food that I was getting for free from the food bank. And then I had my channel and I was trying to teach frugal cooking and pantry cooking, but I have a $50 leg of lamb,
Yeah.
So I'm mentioning that I'm going to the food bank, and husband was like, you got to quit saying food bank so much. That's like all our channel is going to be about is food bank. And I'm like, well, it's where I get my food from. Like, people are going to ask questions, I'm like, I might as well just be upfront about it and say, this is where I get my food, because that's where I'm getting it. So
Well,
it
and
just
I
took that.
love that. Yeah. I love that you were so open about it because people do feel embarrassed about it. And
Yeah.
you had an entire video about cutting out the stigma, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the one that really sold it. Like that one was kind of in July and I started my video in December. So it took that many months and that many comments of people trying to put me down, trying to make me feel shame because I utilized the food bank, saying that I'm raising a bunch of beggars. Got really cruel.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you just hear the same thing over and over. You're not poor enough to go to the food bank. You shouldn't. If you should get a job. If you want to go put your kids in school and get a job, that's like, sorry, that's not what we want for our family. And I'd rather get food that normally would have get thrown away if people don't utilize it to make it so I can stay home and I can raise my family. To me, that's more important,
Yeah, I just love that because I have a thing for food waste. It just really bothers me. And around here, at least the grocery store we used to have, when produce would go bad, they would at least let farmers come in and either buy it at a discount or something rather than it just get trashed. Because it makes me so upset when I see that in some of the bigger cities where they just throw things away, like brand new in the package stuff that like shelf stable stuff even that are not even out of date yet. And it just, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah. And then people think that food's bad and throw it away, or grocery stores are obligated to throw it away. And I think that's why our food bank is so, has a lot of food to distribute, is because they have the connections with the stores that get all the food. Like all that brown sugar I got 50 pounds of brown sugar a couple of weeks ago because it was rock hard and Winco couldn't sell it. So they donated it. Actually, I think it was Costco because I was just there and saw the same bag for $25 each. And they had to get rid of a whole pallet. And it wound up at the food bank. Lots of food from Costco ends up at the food bank.
And see, that's another thing that you do that I absolutely love, because so many times people go to the food banks and then they get the food and they don't know what to do with it. And so between your culinary skills of teaching them even how to hold the knife and how to cut these pieces of meat or whatever, and just saying, we're going to experiment today and I'm going to put this bread in with this brown sugar and see if this will soften it up. And, teaching them, don't be afraid to try it. I mean, honestly, what are you out? It didn't cost you anything. It was going to the trash anyway. And you saved that sugar. And now you don't have to make your own brown sugar for a while.
Yeah. So I save it from ending up in a dump. You think of all the resources it takes to make that item, to transport it, to put it on the shelf, just for it to get thrown in the trash. What a waste, and it's like that with everything. And I have kitchen experience where I've been a line cook pretty much since I was 16, learning and seeing the food waste in the kitchen industry is just insane. And I was so used to it until all of a sudden, when it's my stuff, I'm like, man, I'm going to save this the best I can, you know? And, you know, and I'm not intimidated by large portions of food at one time, because that's what I was given at work. Be like, hey, you got to prep 2 cases of broccoli. That's 50 pounds of broccoli that you got to do in like an hour, you know? And so I'm used to the volume. So that's what doesn't. So I think that's what intimidates a lot of people, is if they could get 20 pounds of potatoes, like, well, what am I going to do with 20 pounds of potatoes? You know, so I do love that. That's, you know, help teach people how to handle that.
I love it too. I love it too. Ginger, I tried. I can't figure it out. But thank you, Michelle, for trying. Don't worry about it either. I think, Michelle, I think I took you off as the other admin or whatever. So my bad. I'm seeing comments of like people getting in trouble for taking home leftovers and stuff like that. I'm sure you had to deal
at the kitchen.
Sure you had to deal with that when you worked in
the kitchen
restaurants and stuff.
Yes. So the management perspective on that is that if you allow your employees to take home food waste, then they think that the employees are purposely going to overcook food or over order food, so then they can take that home. So the solution to that is just to not let anybody take anything home ever. And you know, that is how it is. And like, I remember in McDonald's, they had a waste bin where any single time a timer went off, whatever was in there, you're supposed to waste. And it was a 5-gallon bucket, and we threw away so much food.
I was watching a freeze drying video where someone had McDonald's food. I don't know what it was. It could have been pandemic time, you know, and then they were actually allowed to take it home at that point or whatever. But they were trying to freeze dry, I don't know, breakfast sandwiches or something. And I was like, oh, yeah, people should be doing that. But they probably don't, you know, allow that on a normal circumstance.
And shoot, they'll last forever anyway without any kind of preservation.
So true. Ginger, I checked on my other device and it is at the very top. Maybe I did it right or not. I don't know. But anyway, if anyone needs it, I can always bring it back. Thank you, Ginger. You're so sweet. I have such good friends. Ginger is one of my good friends too.
Yeah. She was on last week's What's Up Wednesday.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. She got to be on 2 back to back. She was on mine and then she was on Michelle's. So I'm sure that she was exhausted by the end of the evening. Yeah, so I absolutely love that you do that. I used to be a couponer.
Yes.
Like, big time. Like, it used to be, I don't even think you can do it like this anymore, but years ago, you could get the papers, and I actually was lucky enough to get a hold of someone who when had a route. And so they would have to gather up the newspapers. And so I'm like, hey, can I get the ads out of there or whatever, you know? And so we would trade or whatever.
Right.
And so I would go, and so many times you could get stuff free. Like I think finally, like, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, I finally had to go buy toothpaste.
Wow.
I mean, you never had to buy toothpaste and you never had to buy toothbrushes because there was always a deal. And, but I don't know if it's like that anymore or not.
I think like really the only place you can do that stuff is like Walgreens. They have that.
And CVS, and it was the point system with the coupons. And yeah, so I used to do all that quite a bit. And I'm not quite sure where I was going with all that. So I guess I squirreled that one away.
Sorry about saving money. I used to buy bundles from a couponer, and that has saved me a lot of money. She just threw a whole bunch of stuff in there and charged me like $20. So that's how I stocked up a lot, is found someone. I don't know if they can do that anymore either.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of quit it there. You think you won't, and then you do. And so I don't commit like that to anything anymore, because I always said, I think I'll coupon forever. I'll never forget, my daughter was in school and she was supposed to, I think middle school age, and she was supposed to put together like a family budget, and the teacher was like, no way this would work. Did you look at the prices? Did you, do the sale ad? She goes, yeah, but I got coupons. And she goes, there's no way. Oh, I know where I was going with this now. And her teacher ended up taking one of my coupon classes. I
Oh
offered
my
one
gosh.
through, we have like a commercial kitchen, and they were offering classes on cooking and stuff. And they asked me to do one on couponing. I'm like, sure. I share my information and get people to save some money. And her
Right.
teacher took that and she goes, wow, my daughter, I won't say the name, she's right. You could have done that. I'm like, girl, you can get coupons for anything, or at least back then you could. But I
Right.
guess I was getting to the classes thing. I also had a local program want me to teach a class again on it. And at that point, I'd kind of slowed down on it, and other things were in my life. I started gardening and stuff. But I wondered, like your food bank,
Yeah.
something like that, a cooking class. I wonder, I mean, they seem to do so much. They have daycare and all this stuff. I wonder about a cooking class with them, if that's something they'd ever consider doing.
Well, they do have a commercial kitchen on above the food bank that they used to
Really?
host cooking classes until the pandemic,
Wow.
and then they haven't been able to get it up and running again. But I'm actually talking to the lady who's going to get it up and running, and she knows about my channel. She's kind of like my inside scoop at the, and she said that I'm her number one pick to actually help teach classes, and I'm sure I can bring preserving food into that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
That would be awesome, because I
yeah.
thought you would just be perfect at it, because you've been working with the food bank. And another
Yeah.
thing with your food bank hauls that I've noticed, that people will say, okay, nobody's taking these items, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, they've sat here for a week or whatever, and you're like, I'll take it home, and then you teach us how to can it or
Yeah.
freeze it or turn it into, I mean, like, you come up with some amazing dishes that I'm like, oh, good idea. Or you'll
Yeah.
ask your subscribers, hey, what would you do with all this? And then you
Yeah.
even started sharing some of their recipes there for a while. And that was
Yeah.
kind of fun, I'm sure, for your subscribers.
Yes, it was my subscriber featured recipe. Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't done one in a while. It's just, it's
Yeah.
a lot. Like, life gets busy. And then my mom came and stayed with me for a
Yes.
while. And that was like, I feel like it's been 3 weeks now since I dropped my mom off. So now I'm like finally getting back into a routine again. We don't have doctor's appointments, things like that. So I feel like I'm starting to actually be able to get into the routine again. And I feel like I'm posting more videos. I'm like, all right, let's make some money now. Let's post some videos,
Yeah.
Mom's
So
not here bugging me.
you have gotten large enough now. I thought I had it pulled up, but I guess I must have took it down. How many subscribers do you have now?
I got like 13,700.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like to act like an influencer sometimes.
I mean, that's crazy that you got that much in like a year.
You're telling
year and a
me.
half.
Yeah, it was that video where I really started, I expressed about the stereotype of it, and I was nervous about that. Like, I was nervous to record it. I just kind of spilled my heart out, about how I feel people telling me that I don't qualify to go to a food bank, especially when you're talking to the people at the food bank and they're telling you how much food they're throwing away. They're telling you to take more. They're telling you to come every day. But here's this random internet person telling you that, you're a disgrace and what's wrong with the world. Okay. Your opinion, and I know I was hearing that, and I know that other people hear that too. And I'm like, if you're hearing this, don't listen. You deserve better. You deserve the help. Everybody tells me you need to think of your neighbor. Well, what if they're also thinking of you and neither of you go, when in reality there is plenty of food for both of you?
Well, and the thing is, at your food bank, I mean, not all food banks are the same, obviously.
That's true.
I know around here there has been higher demand and less. They actually had to shut down a few of the distribution places, it was a mobile food truck. There used to be several around here that would come, and I don't think there are as many. I know when the pandemic hit, they had it was a different food giveaway that the president had done, and you'd get these food boxes, and then but then there's this mobile food pantry that goes around too, I guess. I think a lot of our churches still, there's usually one in each town. But anyway, there was less and less and less available. But at your food bank, you said they're still throwing food away.
Yes, like they have bins in the back. Oops.
Oh, we lost her. She's got the link. I'm sure she'll be back really soon. But this will give me a moment to chat with all of you for a second while she comes back. I actually have a new microphone tonight, and I'm very interested to see if any of you can see if there's a difference. So let me know what you think, if you can hear a difference.
I'm a mess.
It worked out great because I was able to ask them a question about my audio to see if they could tell that things were different tonight or not.
Good. It was all planned, all part of the plan.
Yeah, totally planned.
Oh yeah, so they still throw out food, mostly bread and produce is what gets thrown out the most. And I would say, like, because a lot of people don't know what to do with a lot of produce, and that's mostly what you can preserve the most is produce.
Right.
Bread, you're kind of limited on the bread and what so much you could do.
And so many croutons and
yeah, and you only got so much freezer space, some of that here chickens, but like the produce, I feel like that's a shame that all that gets thrown out, and that's really what preserving focuses on is mostly produce. So.
Well, Ginger, I don't know if she's still in here. She had a video that she was gifted a large amount of produce. And because people didn't know what to do with it or whatever. I don't remember the full story on it. You can watch it on her channel. Somebody can put a link in. Anyway, how she was preserving up the produce, because you do get overwhelmed with it, and produce does go bad fast. But I was so excited that she found a way to use it, and someone had gifted it to her knowing that she knew how to do it. And I think people are searching more now for that kind of stuff. And so I think they're wanting to learn how to preserve other than just freeze. But the thing is, you sometimes have to pick through it. I don't know if you've ever watched Homestead Tessie. Have you ever heard of that channel? And she'll show how, there's some bad stuff in here, and then there's some good stuff in here, and you just gotta not be afraid to pick through it and get the good stuff out. And those of you like you and I have chickens, and they're more than happy to have a bruised piece of fruit. They don't care. I'll cut around that bad spot, because like when my trees start producing fruit, some will fall on the ground, it'll get bruised. I just cut the bruise out, give it to the chickens. And and people, I think some people are intimidated by that they don't know how to do that. I grew up that way. I was lucky. My mom taught me, just because it has a blemish, it's not bad.
Right. And we're coming from a modern society where everything has to be perfect to be good. So now we're having to relearn that that's not true, and to salvage the most we can. And that if it's unperfect, it doesn't mean that it's bad.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
I was going to say, and we're coming from like a society that doesn't cook because they've had convenience foods for so long, and it's gone to having to have a 2-income household. So mom and dad are both working. So it's convenience, it's fast, it's,
tired. Even at the store, I'm just as guilty. I know I just had that Big Mac video, and I used the already shredded lettuce when I very much could have. But I was like, I'm hot, I'm tired, and this bag of shredded lettuce right here looks so much easier. I'm having to wash and do it, And so a lot of stores have picked up on that, and everything is so convenient, even if you're cooking from scratch, which that is better than driving through somewhere. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting anyone down, but I'm finding so many scary things in our food. And so being able to have the knowledge of cooking from scratch is pretty great.
Yes, it's like a superpower, really. And knowing how to preserve food, that's how I see it. It's a superpower,
Yeah.
It's like a lost art too. Like I'm still learning it, like half the times I'm doing stuff, it's because I've never tried it before. I'm like, let's do it together. Let's see what happens, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to show that it didn't work out. You know, I'm like, here's how to make the perfect cornbread. Oh, it's stuck. Well, it still tastes good. You know, like, oh,
But then you repurposed it into a salad for Ginger's collab, and it was
I
great.
did. I did, you know, and so it works out. And I was even like, man, should I refilm that? You know, and I thought about it, but I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to post it, you know, and I try not to film anything that feels forced, you know, like forced content or
Right.
anything, you know, so I'm just
I
like,
don't
well,
refilm either. I'm like, it's either going to happen or it's not. And yeah.
yeah, and I have videos that I filmed that I ended up never even posting. I'm just like, that didn't work out, you know, but I'll just chalk it up as experience, you know, especially when I first started.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I think there are people that are going to get mean. And that was another question for you. When do you think you started? Do you think it was once you reached, like maybe 1,000 subscribers or something, or was it well after that when you started getting mean comments? Because knock on wood, I haven't had horrendous ones. But my shorts are always the ones, and I've had this conversation with a couple ladies here in the chat. My shorts are always the ones where you get the weird negative stuff. I don't know how that works for you. If you feel like just as you grew bigger and your name was out there, that's when the meaners came out, or
No, they were there from the beginning. Especially especially having such different content. Like you get the homesteaders who are like, you can't go to the food bank and call yourself a homesteader, you know, and then you have the food bankers where you're like, you can't go to the food bank if you have a garden, you know, so, and you're like, then you have like the canners where that's not a USDA canning recipe. You're messing this. So like putting yourself out there and showing what you're doing, especially to so many different niches, can lead to all different types of criticism in so many different ways.
well, I
and in
think
so
you
many different areas.
it very well. I mean, you just kind of laughed it off. You
Yeah.
must have a little bit of thick skin, but do you maybe have another way to vent that out that you want to share with us, or maybe not?
Well, I did have to kick husband off of writing comments. I was like, husband, they're gonna think I was nice. Well, you don't sound nice, you know. And it is hard, especially when people are just, you know, seem to purposely trying to hurt you, you know, like say outrageous things to you. But you just, you know, that's just one person who doesn't know your life, who sees a snippet of yours in the video, who maybe doesn't understand the food banks or whatever, you know. And I do kind of play it off and try to make it funny, you know, like. Well, for example, the other day I had my live where I made eggs Benedict for Mother's Day, and I was eating it, and I guess I was talking while I was eating, and I was trying to cover my mouth, you know, but one person commented and said, I can handle people eating, but I can't handle them talking and eating. That's not nice. And I'm just like, right? Who raised her? And that was my reply.
I love it. I love it. Cause I've seen you do that. Cause you like did a giveaway and someone was like, oh, I don't want this item. I would never buy this item. And then they want it. And I'm like dying.
Yeah. They're like, I'll take it if it wouldn't though.
Yeah. You handled it so well. I guess what I was getting at was your other social media. I didn't know if you will.
You broke up a little bit. My other social media, what?
Oh, she froze. Okay, well, we've got Ginger.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Your other social media. You sometimes would put those comments on there.
My Facebook.
I didn't know if you wanted to share that you had that and that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I do that occasionally if it's like a spicy one or one that I feel that other people would hear as well. Like maybe they're being told that they're not needy enough and that I should be, and that they're stealing from starving children's mouths and that they need to think of other people. You know, if they're hearing that, I kind of want them to see my response to see how they should be handling those type of comments, you know, because not everybody has as thick a skin. But at this point, you're hearing the same negative comments over and over and over. Like there's only so many points that they can say as to why you shouldn't qualify to go, you know. And so and some people you can tell are just curious and are just asking questions. So I don't want to respond in a condescending, mean way if they're true, because it's hard to determine over comments what their
Right.
tone is towards it, but other people are purposely just trying to be mean, and that's like a troll, someone who's just trying to get you fired up, but they don't care. They're not thinking about you after they say that comment, so why let it ruin your day
Oh,
and
Ginger
affect
said
you?
she was watching that live.
Yeah,
Um,
apparently I was rude. I don't know. Oh, and one person,
no.
in one short, I made homemade brown sugar, and I took a spoonful of it at the end, and I was like, and I took a spoonful of it. And then one person's like, diabetes,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, well, at least it's homemade diabetes, right?
Yeah.
Just laugh it
Yeah.
off. Yes.
Well, that one I would find funny personally because it's kind of a going joke around here. Like when you eat a piece of cake or whatever, it's like, diabetes, but we have
Yeah.
diabetes in our family. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm finding it a little more funny.
Well, and
So,
inside your family humor is different,
oh no, I lost Renee's comment. I think I accidentally deleted it and I was trying to put it up on the screen. Renee, don't take it personal. I'm sorry if that happened.
Angela, you're just mean tonight.
I am. I'm the mean. But anyway, she said trolls just want the attention, and she is so right. That is just all.
And they want you to get fired up so they have something to throw at you, Like the internet's forever. You need to remember that when you reply to people, because then they can, don't give them any stones to throw at you, So just handle it with grace or delete it, or be sassy.
Oh no, I put her in timeout. How do I take her out of timeout? Renee,
Renee.
Sorry. She's one of my besties and I put her in timeout. I don't even know how to fix it. I think, oh yeah, because I have taken her. Oh, let's see. No, because when I went in to put or when I went to an old comment to put her in timeout, it doesn't say it. I don't know. I must have put that one in. I don't know. I am so sorry, Renee. I'm bad at technology.
Ginger, I vote for a spicy comment. It's fine.
Yes. Oh, okay. So we've talked about a lot of things on your channel, but there's still more things that I'd love to ask you some questions about. And one is your product reviews. How did you get involved in that? What do you think of it? Do you like it? What do your viewers think of it?
Okay. Well, the product reviews started when I had maybe I was 3 months in or something. I got a Javi coffee offer.
I remember that. That's like a liquid something or
yes,
other.
a concentrate. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was my first offer, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fun!" And I looked up.
Now.
Yeah, I'm like, "Ooh, a product review! I get free," and it was coffee. So I'm like, So that was perfect for me. And I think that Javi coffee goes really after the small creators, because a lot of the reviews I looked up had very small subscribers and not many views on their review and stuff like that. And I looked them up, and it was like a 20-minute long video, and they're making hot coffee and they're making an iced coffee, and that's it. And every single video was the same for their review. And I was like, I want to do something different. And I don't usually, for that video I did, but for most of my reviews, I don't go look at other people's reviews on the product. I don't really see what other people do, or the only thing I will do is go to find out what the name is, because I want to make sure I'm saying the name of the company correctly. So I will, I will make sure that I do that, but I don't really watch any other reviews. But I did for the Javi one, just to kind of see what was out there. I did the same thing for food bank hauls when I was learning how to do food banks. I was like, well, let's see if there's any food bank hauls out there. And I looked up food bank hauls on YouTube, and I saw that there were some out there. So I was like, okay, well, then there's room for me, So for the product reviews, I did that, and I ended up making a cake, and I made a mocha cake with the mocha concentrate, and it ended up falling apart. It stuck to the pan. It was just a mess, but I was like, hey, it tastes good. It's a homemade cake for you. I didn't make enough frosting.
Well, and you know what, though? People need to see that it doesn't have to be picture perfect. When you're cooking for your family and you're doing something, it doesn't have to be. And so you're like the everyday Joe, and they're probably like, hey, I could do that too.
Yeah. Or you also get tips from, I like to say, I ask the audience. So it's like, what do you think I did wrong? And then
Yeah.
that gets you people engaged into your content. It gets them leaving comments. And I get to learn stuff because there's people out there who know more than me about different topics.
Yeah,
So
and
that,
you're also gracious about it. You'll say, "Thank you for that. Thank you. I tried this. It worked," or
yeah,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
try and do that. I try and talk to every single person who comments, who takes the time to do that. And then, especially if they're educating me in some way, like when I couldn't say acai, that berry, acai or something, I kept calling it acai or something. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't believe
I
how many
think that's how I
people,
say it too.
yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people took the time to spell it, like to sound it out for me, spelling
Uh-huh.
it, sounding it out for me. Like at least 25 people did that. And I was like, wow. I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
And no
you know,
one was condescending whatsoever. They just would
yeah.
say, oh, it's a tough word. Here's how you say it.
So before I lose her, Michelle was wondering if you get purchases after your reviews.
Like, do people buy the products that I'm reviewing?
I'm assuming that's what she's asking, and
Some
then,
do,
like,
yes.
a commission off of it or something. It
Yes.
probably each one is different maybe on what they
Yes.
expect and what you get in return.
That's right. Like some of them are through Amazon, so I'm an affiliate through them. So I will get commission that way. Some of them, if I sell it through their website, then I get commission. Vever is one of those. Well, I will get commission.
And you've gotten a lot of just free product for your family. Like, you
Yes,
have a bike, like an electric bike, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it is like that's why I kind of see my sponsors as an opportunity for me to get stuff that I normally would not be able to get or I would not splurge on, and it's not I don't want to say it's exactly free because I'm putting in the work to promote it, to do the review on it, to edit it, to get it up there, and my reviews don't get a lot of views from my subscribers. Not like my food bank hauls are my biggest video. But the reviews, I don't, they really help my family, and I feel maybe one day they'll get me a really big sponsor where I don't have to do a bunch of little ones anymore. I'll get a really big one that'll just have me set up. And maybe by doing my infomercials and showing my creativity and doing a really good review, and I give feedback to the company and say, hey, this would be great, but it would be even better if you did this, and they appreciate that. And half the time that's what the company wants is just feedback on them. Oh, thanks, Carrie. She watched all my reviews.
Yeah, I like watching them too because you're entertaining. It's
Thank
not
you.
like you said. I don't think you said it here. I think it was in backstage here before we got started. It's not just opening the box. Oh, look what I have. This is
Yeah.
this. Da, 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 da. You'll like do your research and go have fun with it. Like there's times where you're like running around your backyard and
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff. You fell in the creek or the river or whatever that one time when you were doing your helmet
Review.
review.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
throw that in there, I'm like, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm very entertained by it. I will tell you at first when you started doing so many reviews, I was like, oh wow, is she taking the channel in a different direction? I don't know what to think of this. But
Yeah.
then you really got into it and then you made it fun and entertaining, or you a lot of times will incorporate it into your video. Like you'll be making something and you'll be like, I got these spoons from so and so or whatever.
Right.
And I really started enjoying them actually. And I'm like Carrie, and I will find myself clicking on it just to watch it.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
is like, it does seem different people take it different way. Some people think I'm being bought and that I'm trying to push products on people when they can't afford them. And it's not like that at all. Like, I'm just seeing this as an opportunity to improve my life and my family through my channel. Like,
Which is
and
love.
I find it crazy. Like when I got that electric bike offer, yeah, I don't really contact my sponsors. They all reach out to me. And anytime I have a product review, the next morning I have 5 emails asking me to review so many more things. And I turn
That
down a lot.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
You and I had talked email, and I was like, is this real? Because I had, there are a lot of scammers out there, and it's just unfortunate. And it was so funny. I finally pulled the trigger. It hadn't even been 24 hours, and I responded to them. And I had seen other people review it, and they didn't. They chose not to anymore. They actually sold out of that particular product, so it must have been a
Yeah.
popular product.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'm not ready for that anyway. That was, my little sign that that's not where I'm at. And the same
Yeah.
thing, I think Ginger did a product review, and I held on to that for a month before I responded to them, because I'm like, I'm watching to see if I know anyone else doing this, because y'all, there are scammers, and it happens, and it's scary. So,
Well, I can
anyway.
tell you through mine, I have never fallen for a scam yet. My biggest tip on that is if they ask you to pay any kind of shipping, don't do it. All of my products, including my e-bike, which was a $1,300 bike, I did not have to pay any shipping on. Like, the company should cover all the costs. And
That's what
some
my
of them,
husband said from
yep,
now on. He's like,
yep,
they don't get any information other than an address to
yes,
ship it to. And
yep.
yeah.
And most of them, that's how it works. Like, I've given my, not my PO box, but my actual address and my phone number, because that's required for a item that's a certain bulk or over a certain price,
Thank you.
So, yeah, so that's my main tip, is just, if they ask for any money, don't do it. Like, I just had one to review a computer gamer chair, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
that would be awesome. I could
Kids would
definitely
love
use
it.
that. And I could do a day in the life, and like, I instantly started thinking how I could incorporate it into an infomercial or into a video. I either do I need to do a commercial, or do I need to incorporate into a video? And that's usually what I ask them. I'm like, okay, do you want a dedicated video or an incorporated video? I also ask in every sponsor, do you have a discount for my subscribers? Because before I didn't ask that. And then all of a sudden I was like, in the video, I'm like, all right, I'll have a discount below. And then they're like, oh no, we're not giving you a discount. I'm like, oh, well, shoot. Like,
Yeah.
that, I want to make sure that I give a discount to you guys. So if you see something that you like, then I'm also rewarding you by giving you a discount. So I make
Yeah.
sure that's included in every review now.
Yeah.
And some of them want to pay you, and some of them just send you product and it's like a barter. So it all
I've heard
depends.
that before, that some that you actually get paid, but it has to be a video just on that product or whatever, so that they can use it on their website or whatever.
Correct. Like the back brace I just did in my dandelion video, that was, I got the product and I got paid for that. And it was just it had to be at least 3 minutes.
Was better from it.
Yeah, my back is better. Yes. I mean, my muffin top pop out a little bit, but I'm just putting it all out there.
You said that, I was like, she is so real. She is just real. That's why I love her. Oh,
I was almost like, husband, I can't post this. He's like, you look fine. I'm like, well, I love you for that, but
I was like, girl, you are so brave. I hope she answered that for you. And then Big Living had another question. Thank you for your response because of the scammers. I know there are scammers out there, and I got so bitten that I've been too shy to do anything other than 4 jars.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I got my freeze dryer, I talked to a person. And so, yeah, but even they're getting scammed now, I guess, too. I've heard recently that, yeah. Uh-oh. My son almost got taken on his Instagram. They were asking him to pay for shipping and CC at the end, and he said, nah. Yeah.
Good.
Instagram, I really don't like Instagram. That's why I have not pushed a following.
I haven't either.
Because that is where I have had so many things I'm uncomfortable with happen there,
Right.
I should say. I have an account, I share, but I'm just not, Oh, Carrie, that's great. I'm glad that you're among friends tonight.
Yeah, we got a good community here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, we're just only have like a little bit of time left. Was there anything else that you wanted to share tonight with anyone? Or did you have a question for me or anything? kind of just bombarded you there.
No, it's great. I really enjoy talking to you, Angela. And we were like due for a good conversation. The
Yes.
emails aren't enough,
Yes.
But I truly appreciate everybody's support. And I know, like with the sponsors, some people, they don't like them. They think it's commercial. One person thinks, I'm being fake or whatever, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. You appreciate feedback because that's how you improve. And I want to do content that people enjoy, but I also don't want to force it, And if I can get a product just by doing a review for it and getting a good product that's really just going to help me and my family, then I'm going to do it. And just having the support here, and I just love it, and I'm really looking forward to the summer. I have a lot of fun things planned.
Oh, good.
I actually got
future videos.
Yeah, I actually got a food bank haul coming after this. In about an hour and a half, I will get a food bank video up.
Right?
Yes, it's going to be a premiere. Yes.
Everybody go there. Everybody go check that out tonight.
I'm going to need another cup of coffee. We got to go get Gideon's bike, and then we'll come back and do the premiere, But yeah, so I do have a lot of fun things. We got a garden going. We're getting 20 chickens, 20 baby chickens coming because I'm obsessed with chickens.
Are they egg
apparently.
layers?
Yes.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. And, I'm glad we did this. I enjoy my channel and I enjoy talking to you guys. And yeah, I have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for being my guest. And thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off for now. I appreciate you all. And we will see you next week where I have Natasha at the Budget Preppers here as my guest. So bye for now, guys. Have a good one.
Nice meeting you.